What is up, guys? Python here, back with another video. And today, I want to do a video that I did last year after free agency that actually did very well here on the channel. So I'm guessing you guys liked it. So I figured let's do it again, and let's do it a bit different this time around. In certain ways, it's pretty much the same, but there's a bit of things that are different here and there, but nothing major in terms of changes is what I should say there. But before we dive into this, we're going to be diving into the offseason recap that we did, and then we're going to talk about the projected lines, at least in my opinion, for next year, and the projected special teams for next year. Before we do that, though, be sure to leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Ranger fans, and turn on your notifications as well. And before we also get into it, I do want to shout out our new partner here on the channel, that being Manscaped. I don't have the official ad read yet, so here's how I'll do it. I'm going to just do it my own way, but I will say that you should be trusting Manscaped. Listen, I know it's intimidating sometimes to go down there below your waist and shave yourself. I know it could be intimidating, but trust me when I tell you that Manscaped is the way to go for the safest and cleanest way to shave down there, because they offer the best skin safe technology tools for you. And they also have other things like ball deodorant, and they have wipes, they have boxers, they got shirts too, even they got cologne, they got shampoo, they got body wash, they got everything for you. And I've been using Manscaped ever since before this partnership, and I've loved them. So you gotta trust me when I tell you that you gotta check them out, and be sure to use code Python for 20% off. Link is in the description. Sorry for a bit of a longer ad read there, but I do want to push this out because they are a great company and they were nice enough to partner with me. So yeah, let's now dive into the action here. So like I did last year, so this is the exact same graphic pretty much, just a different font for this year. But first, let's talk about the additions and the subtractions for the Rangers this year. So coming in, you have Vinny Trocheck at 7 years, 5.6 million as your new number 2 center. Yaroslav Halak comes in as the new backup goalie, 1 year, 1.5 million with a no move clause. And with Trocheck, it's a no move clause until 2000. I don't know, 3 years from now. Too lazy to figure out what years, but 3 years from now, that becomes a modified no trade clause. So Vinny Trocheck, again, that's your second line center. Hawk, your backup goalie. Louis Domingue comes in on a one-way deal, which means he is going to have to be put on waivers anytime that the Rangers want to send him down. So that is a bit of a worry for me personally when he does have to go back down to Hartford at the beginning of the season, because God forbid some team takes him off waivers. But even then, Louis Domingue, if he does stay, great third string option there. So huge fan of that deal. And then Ryan Carpenter coming in, 1 year league min, as well as Louis Domingue. So Ryan Carpenter probably going to slot in on the fourth line, which we'll talk about. But again, another good signing there. And then Ty Emberson, who came in via the Patrick Nemeth trade. So that is it for the addition side. The subtractions, a lot more subtractions. So Kevin Rooney goes off to the Calgary Flames. He ended up signing for about 1.3 million for, I think, 2 years in Calgary. And for that, honestly, Ryan Carpenter, in my opinion, is pretty much the same player, if not maybe better. There's an argument there. But Kevin Rooney, I wish him luck. I love this time here, but it just wasn't going to work with the cap. So he goes off to Calgary. Andrew Copp goes to Detroit. I loved Copper. I thought that he was great in the first round, but after that, he did cool off a lot during the playoffs, and he just was not good enough. And you saw the holes in his game. He wasn't good enough, again, to be a number 2 center, in my opinion. And to that, Andrew Copp, I wish you luck in Detroit, and I know you'll thrive there. I say it like he's watching this video, but I know Andrew Copp will thrive in Detroit, so I wish him luck there. Loved him while he was here. He's who I wanted most at the trade deadline this past year, so in a way, it's sad to see him go, but at the same time, this was something that had to be done because, again, in my opinion, the way these negotiations went, since Andrew Copp said on the ESPN panel that they never offered a deal, in my opinion, the Rangers said, "Hey, Copp, will you take around 4 million, 4.5?" He said, "No way. I want over 5 million at the very least." And I'm guessing the Rangers said, "All right, well, we can't do that, so off you go." And that's pretty much how that went, if I had to take a guess. So he goes off to Detroit, his hometown team. Frank Vatrano goes to Anaheim with Ryan Strome also. So Frank Vatrano ended up getting 3.6 million for 3 years. Yeah, to that I say good riddance. I know Frank Vatrano is loved by this fan base. To me, I liked him, but I wasn't necessarily in love with him like most of this fan base was. So I wish him luck in Anaheim, of course. But again, he was a replaceable guy, in my opinion, considering the fact that you have guys from within that are under contract, still under ELCs also, that could take that role. And you need them to take that role nonetheless. So Frank Vitrano goes off to Anaheim. Ryan Strome, he goes to be the second line center to Trevor Zegras. $5 million per year for 5 years. Yeah, no way. No way. The only way I would have been content with Strome staying was he would have had to get paid less than he was making last year, which there was no way that was happening. And he would have had to have been the third line center, or he would have had to move to the wing with Trocheck coming in. So there was no way that was happening. So again, good riddance to Strome. I wish him luck in Anaheim. Hopefully he doesn't miss any empty nets there. But yeah, that's it for the Strome front. And then you have a bit of the smaller moves here. And I realized I messed up on the bottom with Tyler Mott there by not adding the extra T before all you keyboard warriors go into the comments roasting me for that. I know I spelled his name wrong. I just realized that again. Anyway, Greg McKegg, he goes off to Edmonton. Not much to talk about there. Just a depth guy that goes to Edmonton. Justin Braun, he goes off to the Philadelphia Flyers, back to where we got him at the trade deadline. Not much to say there. Wish Bronner luck. He was a solid third pair guy for us in the playoffs. Didn't have a problem with them. And then Tyler Mott, I wouldn't say he's a smaller loss, though. I just put him there at the bottom because we still don't know. We still know there is a chance that the Rangers do end up fitting him in, which that I say, if there's a world where the Rangers could trade Ryan Reeves and then fit Tyler Mott into the cap, you do it. But I know that that's not popular through Ranger fans, and I know that Ryan Reeves is loved so much. But to me, Tyler Mott, if you could find a way to keep him, he's going to actually play every day where Ryan Reeves isn't. So I think that it makes the most sense to bring him back if you could. But you got to spell his name right, I guess, right? Because I cannot believe I'm an idiot that much and messed that up. But now, with that being said, let's talk about the lines and the D pairs. So, very complicated. I know, a lot on your screen right now, but let's talk about it. Forward lines that I have projected here. So, with the forward group, Kreider, Zibanejad, and Lafreniere as your first line, I think that there is a world where Kakko plays on that first line instead of Lafreniere, and then Lafreniere plays on the second. But I feel like it makes more sense to put Lafreniere on that top line, because then if you wanted to play Kreider on his off wing, I feel like that is more reasonable than playing Panarin on his off wing. So I like the fit there better. And also Lafreniere is someone that could play more physical than Kakko, and that line kind of needs someone like that. I know Kreider, you could say, is kind of a physical guy, but I just kind of like Lafreniere there more. I don't know. That's just my preference, but you guys let me know if you'd flip them. For my second line, in my opinion, I think that Panarin, Trocheck, Kakko is pretty much the writing on the wall there. Again, unless you have the flip with Kakko and Lafreniere. To me, though, the top six is set with those six guys in particular. I don't think that there's a world where anyone else slots in there unless Kravtsov or Othman blow your balls off. Speaking of balls, link in the description, right? Had the plug there. But no, I don't think that there's a world where Kravtsov or Othman take the top six role unless they go absolutely crazy in the preseason. We've seen crazier things happen, but I just don't see it. And hopefully we don't see top six Hunt again, because that's another scenario I guess we could see. And then the third line, Blais, Hedl, Kravtsov. This could vary. This is a line that I could see very differently. So if Tyler Mott does not come back, in an ideal world, I really would like it if Othman could knock they could just blow management's balls away in the preseason by getting him on the opening night roster. And if you could get Brandon Othman on the opening night roster playing on that third line, then Blais moves down to the fourth line, I think you're looking at a scenario that is way more ideal than what you have now. But even then, I don't mind Blais, Hedl, and Kravtsov. You get that little physical presence with Sammy Blais there, and I like the fit there with Hedl and Kravtsov. I don't know. I feel like that could be a nice, fast line right there that could be a little physical here and there as well. So I like that line quite a bit. And then your fourth line, as of right now, assuming Othman does not make the team, which you have at the bottom there, the outside shots of making the team, which we'll talk about. But Barclay Goodrow, Ryan Carpenter, and Ryan Reeves is what I have as the fourth line. I feel like that is a very solid fourth line. I don't necessarily like Reeves playing every day, so you could see some of those potential scratches slide in here and there, but Ryan Reeves for the moment is here, so we gotta just put him into the lineup. So I feel like that is your best bet. I feel like this will be more accurate, though, than last season, my projected line, so that's a positive there. D pairings, I think it's obvious. These are a lock. The top four is absolutely a lock. This I could say with 100% certainty is going to be the way that it is heading into next season. You have Lindgren and Fox as your top pair. That is not changing. Miller and Trouba as your second pair. That is not changing. You had that pretty much, not pretty much, you had that for every single game last year, with the exception of times where you'd have healthy scratches or, God forbid, you had an injury here and there with Lindgren, who was mostly injured there. And then Fox also had an injury for a bit. And then your third pair, I have Jones and Schneider, but that could obviously be very different. I feel like that the Rangers still should be in the market for a sixth defenseman. Just a veteran guy that you could have as a rotational piece. I personally would like that. Just because, God forbid, one of Jones or Lundqvist can't be on the full-time roster. You have a guy as insurance there versus who is under the potential scratches that I don't like, Jared Tenorti. But in terms of the deep pairs, I think that makes the most sense. And I think that Jones ends up winning over the job just because of the fact that, one, he is left-handed. So obviously you get more of the balance there with all your left-handed shots on the left side and then your right-handed guys on the right side. And also, I don't know, I think that Jones is a bit of a step ahead than Lundqvist in his development. And then your goalies, Pasterk and Halak, those are the locks there. And Louis Domingue, of course, is your third string. So I didn't have to list them. You guys know that. Now let's get into the potential scratches. So these are guys that either going to play during injuries or that could sneak onto the lineup over, let's say, Ryan Reeves or Ryan Carpenter. So Dryden Hunt, obviously we know he is Gallant's pet. So Dryden Hunt, there's a world where he gets into the top six again. And will I be pissed? Yep. Yes, I will. But it feels like that it could happen. Let's hope not. If Gallant wasn't lying at the end of the season when he said that he wants to get the younger guys into the top six, we won't see that. But again, we saw last year how things went when I thought that all the younger guys were going to be in the top six. So Dryden Hunt, he might get there. But as a fourth line option, I don't mind him as a 13th, 14th forward. I know that a lot of people hated him, including myself. Trust me, I did not like Dryden Hunt. But as a guy that could rotate and be an NHL body at league min for your 13th, 14th forward, it's not the end of the world for me personally. Julien Gauthier, there's a question mark next to his name because we still don't know what the hell is happening there. He still might get traded. We don't know. But my guess is that he won't be on the opening night roster. But if he is, you could bet that he is going to be a healthy scratch for this team. Jared Tenorti, if there's, I don't know. I really don't know because I feel like he's going to be the seventh defenseman, depending on who wins the Jones or Lundqvist bottom pair spot there. I think that one of those end up making the opening night roster, and then they're not going to want the other guy just sitting in the press box. So that leaves you with Jared Tenorti, most likely is your seventh defenseman. Yeah, I'd rather not, but it seems like that's going to be the way it is. And if it is, then oh well. But again, I really think that the Rangers need to be in the market for a new defenseman there. I think that they should have looked into bringing back maybe Brendan Smith or someone like that. But again, there's still time. There's still options on the market. This is why this is a so far video, because by opening night, things could change and I'll have my full opening night preview because by then we'll have an idea of who's on the roster and things like that. Then we have Nils Lundqvist. Again, maybe he does get scratched. Maybe Jones and Lundqvist both do really well in the preseason to the point where Gallant says, hey, we're going to just keep both of you around here and we're just going to rotate you in and out of the lineup. Who knows what happens there, but we'll wait and see. I think that there's a shot that Nils Lundqvist makes the roster, so that's why he's there. Libor Hayek. Let's not do this again. He re-signed for, I think, $800K, and obviously, I'd rather not go there with having him in the lineup, but he's under contract, so we got to put him there. Then we got Gustav Riedel. He's someone that I'm kind of, I don't know what I was saying before there, but he's someone that I could see making the roster as well. Statboy Steven, good friend of the channel, Statboy Steven, compared him kind of to Pierre-Edouard Bellemare from the Tampa Bay Lightning, where he comes in overseas and he's kind of like this fourth line scrappy player that can kill penalties, do the little things right for you. And if that's the case, I would love Riedel to potentially blow me away in preseason and take a fourth line role from a Ryan Reeves or from a Ryan Carpenter, even though I like Carpenter a lot. I think that Riedel has a real chance of being on the fourth line and a real chance of being a healthy scratch for this team. So right now, if I had to guess, well, let's list the last guy, actually. Johnny Brzezinski, the captain of the Hartford Wolfpacks. He might make the opening night roster just given the fact of what the Rangers have, which, again, I wouldn't mind. I think he's better than Dryden Hunt personally, but if I had to guess what it's going to be based on who is signed right now, if I had to guess, it's going to be Hunt, Tenorti, and Riedel. That's my best guess as to who is going to be the healthy scratches going into opening night. But that could change because you have your outside shot of making the team player. So you have Brennan Othmann, who I am very high on, and I think that there is a real chance that he makes the team because of the fact that, one, he does get those 9 games before his ELC burns, in case you didn't know. So let's say that Brennan Othmann plays 9 games and he blows management's balls off. I know I keep saying that a lot, but let's say he blows management away in those 9 games. The Rangers could either opt to keep him, and that would burn a year of his ELC, or he could go back to the OHL, which would be kind of weird because he showed last year that what more room does he have to grow in that league? Because the Rangers are kind of in an awkward situation with Othmann because you can't put him in Hartford because he's not eligible. So what do you do with this guy? And it's going to be interesting, but I really think there's a chance that he makes the roster, but I don't know. I really wonder if management does find a situation where Othmann even then could be really good in those 9 games. Like, unless he's obviously scoring at an elite pace, which I don't see happening, but say he's a bit below a point per game, I could still see a world where Chris Drury sends him back to the OHL just to save a year on his ELC. Because, again, this is a team that's cap strapped for the next few years, so you like a guy like that on his ELC. Then you have Lauri Painiemi, who did very well, in my opinion, in the preseason last year. I thought he looked very sharp, and he did pretty well in Hartford last year. I think there's a real shot Painiemi at least gets a cup of coffee in the NHL this year if he doesn't make the opening night roster. I think that if you see an injury, he's someone that might get a cup of coffee this go-around. Same goes for Will Culley, who is a get-in-your-face, absolute pain in the ass to play against, and I would love for him to go crazy this preseason and make the opening night roster as well. But you have a lot of competition there, so it's going to be tough, but I would love Will Culley to do that. And then Matt Robertson, if there is worst-case scenario where Jones and Lundqvist both do awful in the preseason, and Robertson does very well, then there you go. You have right there your 6th defenseman. And I like Robertson. It's going to be interesting to see if he even is here by opening night, because who knows still if there's a trade to be in the works. Who knows? Because Kakko could still get offer sheet for all we know. Kakko could still be moved for JT Miller since there's still a trade link there. Hedel might not be on the opening night roster because of cap reasons. And if you want to get a JT Miller in the cap, you got to trade Philip Hedel. There's so many question marks still where this is just, that's why these are just projected lines, because by opening night, I'll do an update one of these where we're going to have a much more clear picture. But I thought I'd do this because why not have some fun today? And then you get into your special teams. And to me, this is how things I think will shake up. Power play 1, I think that this is a lock for what you got going on. Kreider, of course, in the net front slot there. Then you have Mika Zibanejad along the half wall there in that one-time slot. Lafreniere on the opposite side. Panarin there in the bumper. And then you have Adam Fox, of course, patrolling the blue line as the quarterback. So pretty much the same thing that you had last year, except you put Panarin in the bumper instead of the other side there, which I think Panarin actually got a couple looks there in the bumper. But you have him go there, and then Ryan Strome is out of here. So you get Alexi Lafreniere there in the one-time slot. A nice left-handed shot, which the Rangers just lacked last year on power play 1 until Andrew Kopp had to play a bit for Ryan Strome. But I think that is your power play 1. I feel like that's set in stone there, except for maybe Kakko going there. Which power play 2, you kind of had the opposite problem of what you had last year, because you have way too many left-handed shots on this unit. Everyone, well, your middle guys there are all left-handed shots, which is the problem. Trocheck, you want to throw in front of the net. You could put him in the one-time slot, but you want him in front of the net because he is a huge body. He is known for being someone that could tip pucks in, and he's known for being that type of player. So you want to throw him there in front of the net. So that's where I have him. But then you have the question of, do you do that because you have way too many left-handed shots here? Kravtsov, I have him there on the left side. Then I have Hedel there in the bumper and Kakko there on the right. Things could change there, but then there's the question, well, what if Othman makes the opening night roster? You could surely put him there on power play 2, right? Well, yeah, you could, but you still have the same problem where another left-handed shot. So what do you do there? Right now, the Rangers have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to left-handed shots, and I don't know what you do because obviously, who else are you going to throw there? You're obviously not throwing, I don't know who else is really a right-handed shot. Ryan Carpenter, if he is, you're not throwing him on the power play. Are you throwing Ryan Reeves on the power play? Maybe you throw him in front of the net and then Trocheck in the one-time spot. I don't think so. Barclay Goodrow, another left-handed shot there. It's just a weird scenario that the Rangers are in right now. There could be a world where the Rangers have to go 2 defensemen on power play 2 and just throw Braden Schneider there. Either throw Trouba in the one-time slot because he has the better shot, or you throw him there as the quarterback just because he's kind of more used to it than Braden Schneider. I really don't know what the Rangers are going to do with power play 2, but that's just my prediction there. So that one I'm not feeling as confident on, though. Then the penalty kill, Barclay Goodrow, Ryan Carpenter. I think that's simple. I think there's a world where Sammy Blake can maybe be there, and then you have Lindgren and Fox on the blue line. Not much to talk about there. And then you have Zibanejad and Trocheck. Again, nice that you have a bit of versatility there with your penalty kill, where if you need to, you could throw Sammy Blais on there. You could throw Chris Kreider on there. You have some other guys. And then when Trouba inevitably takes a costly penalty, you have Braden Schneider to throw on there. So you got a couple options, but this is what I like for the penalty kill there. I feel like that is the fairest situation and the fairest prediction, I should say, for the penalty kill. But that's pretty much all I got for you guys today with that. Let me know if you guys would do anything differently with the lines. I'd love to hear from you guys. And then as well, comment. Do you think a trade is still coming? Do you think that I'm off with the roster lineup and things like that just because of the fact that there's still a trade coming? Let me know all that in the comment section. Remember, use code Python. It says it here. Use it at Manscaped. And yeah, be sure to leave a like on the video as well if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new. Turn on your notifications, and I will see you in the next one. Let's go, Rangers.